What's up? Today I want to talk to you about some of the things that have been challenging me lately and some of the things I've been working on. What's up, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video, and this one's going to be just a vlog, kind of an update to let you know what I've been working on. I feel like there have been some time that I didn't really update you on some of the things I've been really working on and some of the challenges really I've been dealing with lately. So I've had a big artistic challenge for the past 2 weeks. I felt like nothing I was doing was really connecting the way I wanted to. None of my paintings felt the way I want them to look like, and I've been really reading and searching and researching and trying to figure out what wasn't working for me. And there are a few reasons for that, and I'm going to try and address them really quickly because I don't want to burden you with too much information. But basically what I found was that I kind of got inside a pattern in my painting mainly, that I would go into autopilot and just go through a work process that I'm not really present with what I'm painting. I'm not really looking at what I'm painting and interpreting it as I go along, but rather I'm just doing it automatically and painting the way I know it should be done, instead of being in the moment and doing it actually properly. The reason why this happened was that I followed and tried to do a lot of studies by artists I admire, and what ended up happening is I took upon myself their method of work, which is good for study purposes, but not necessarily for the long term. So what I tried to do, and this is something interesting that I figured out, I tried thinking about what things work well for me and what don't, and how I can do the things that I do correctly, the things that work well, bring them over to the things that don't. So one thing I can almost always do without a problem is pen sketching, and I can just tackle a scene and be able to sketch it with a pen, no problem. Have a lot of fun doing this. I'm really in the process. That's one thing. Another thing is portraits. Whenever I paint portraits, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I just go for it and it's all good. So with these two things, I never have a problem, but when I try to paint landscapes, somehow I don't get the result I want. So what I tried to figure out was, what are the things really that I'm doing with these things that I'm not doing here? And what I figured out is really this: it's the immersion and the process, like really interpreting on a moment by moment basis what I'm looking at, okay? That's the first thing that really, I think, held me down in terms of the results. And the second thing, and I'm going to talk about results in just a moment, and what I saw has been referred to as the artist curse. I'm going to talk about it in just a moment. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing is the composition, which is just something I got to work on. So I did improve my composition in the past 6 months, I think. If I compare it to paintings I did prior to that, really there's a huge improvement, but still a long way to go. And I read a lot about the topic online, and because what wasn't connecting for me is the composition and how I arrange the painting. And I do have a good grasp of the basics and the techniques and the things like this, but now there's a higher level to take. So that's the second thing that really wasn't connecting, and I did a lot of research, and I will work on that specifically. I will devote quite some time to work on that every day. So that's the second thing. Now, let's set all of this aside and talk about the artist curse. This is a concept that Mark from Draw Mix Paint, I think, yeah, Draw Mix Paint. He has an incredible channel on oil painting, and I've been learning a lot from that, actually. So he talks about the artist curse and how we as artists will never enjoy our work as much as other people do, simply because we made them and we see them coming to life slowly. And he does say that, and I agree with him, some people, on some rare cases, people can do that, but for the most part, it's really hard to see the painting in an objective light. And what happens many times is, if it's probably better than you think. Now, what he says is that over time you get to build a group of people that you trust that will give you good feedback, and then what you do is you learn from them what works and what doesn't work, and use that information to develop an understanding of what works in your art and what isn't. And it's not the same as enjoying it, but it is an understanding of what works and what doesn't work. So there are things to improve, but on the other hand, it's probably better than I think. Okay, so I'm really trying to come to terms with the fact that I don't see my work as the way other people do. And they probably see it as something better than I see it, because I'm over judgmental when I look at it, okay? And I'm not even going into the topic of, I've been commented on regarding levels and talking about the levels and too much talk about levels, and it really is something that is hard for me to disconnect from, but I'm not even gonna mention that. Let's try and let go of the concept of how good I am. I'm just talking about how pleased I am from my own work when I look at it. So that's basically it. So this is it, I think, in terms of the painting and the things that challenged me. So what I will do now is tackle the idea of composition and try to really be present with my work and do it like I do my portraits, just to, on a moment by moment, see and interpret and paint what I see. And this video, I really urge you to check it out. I will put a link in the description box below about the artist curse. He said something funny, that artists that feel like their work is incredible are usually not that good, and the most over-judgmental people he saw are the ones with the work that's the best. So in any case, we're gonna set that aside. I've been working on some few things. I told you I've incorporated an LLC in the US because I needed to. Okay, some of you have taken my course on drawing and sketching for beginners from observation. I'm talking about the course on my own website, Draw Anything You See, and I always link to it in the description box. Now, in order to make the checkout process much more efficient, I will need to use a solution that, in order to use, I must have a US bank account and an LLC incorporated and some other things. So I'm near the end of this terrible bureaucratic process. I'm really near the end, and probably this month I will finally be able to incorporate this payment solution so that I can receive payment not by PayPal, which is terrible, but by credit cards. It's just, what I want you to take from this is that it's been a nightmare, and I've had a lot of work to do regarding that issue, and it took a lot of my, I think, just mental memory, and not memory like RAM, just the thinking power, and my brain was constantly thinking about that, and now I'll probably be able to go back to being more immersed in art in general and in making courses and things that really teach what I already know in a better way, because this really took a lot of my attention and practically a lot of my time. So just wanted to conclude that, and it's cool that I have an LLC and stuff, and so yeah. It's been just such a long process that it's nice to finally say it's almost over. And this is it. This is everything I wanted to share with you today. Kind of a different video because I haven't really given an update like this in a while. I hope you enjoyed it. I think things are really looking up. There's a lot of things that I'm really excited about in the near future. I will keep you updated on my courses because there's going to be a new one on shading, and then one on sketching people, kind of similar to the one on Udemy. You're gonna see. It's gonna be really good. So a lot of good things to wait for, and I will keep you updated here as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you still haven't, and to check out my other videos. Unlike this one, most of my videos are teaching something more practical, or but I do know some people enjoy these updates, so it is important for me to keep you updated. And the more I feel like I don't update you, I feel there's a gap opening with how I feel and what I convey outwards. And it's good to close that gap from time to time, because it's been a really frustrating few weeks with especially with the art, and feeling like things aren't connecting. And it just goes to show you, it's like a spiral. You always deal with these things, even when you become better, and even if you're intermediate or beginner, there's always challenges. So really, never give up. Just break through it, really. So anyway, this is it. Thank you so much. I've been really blabbering with this one. So I will see you again in another vid really soon.